Morning, everybody. Welcome to LOCPOD, Belgium's top-rated podcast.
Or so.
Was there music in here?
Season 6, episode 18. No music.
Oh, okay. I
It's
thought I
in
was
your
hearing
head.
something in the background.
Just
You know,
in your head.
Dad's going crazy.
I figured out why I have gray hair the other day, Lindsay.
Me.
No.
Yes.
I didn't mean, I figured out why I have gray hair. Lindsay, I didn't mean it that way. I was talking to you.
Oh.
But that is sort of accurate both ways.
Every
What do they
time
call
Dad
that?
and I would have a bit of a spat, he'd always come to me the next
You're
day and
gonna
be
give
like,
me-
this hair is because of you. It popped up overnight.
You're going to give me gray hair.
So anyway, I'm on the last show. John was here to witness it, right?
Wait, why do you have gray hair?
I'm
'Cause he's
going into
old.
it.
Oh, you're okay.
So on the last
Oh,
show.
man.
So John,
Vince.
what time do we
Yeah,
get done with the last show? Like 8:35 a.m.?
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, we, like, shut the show down, and we all just usually start talking to each other, like, good show, stuff like that, right? So we shut the last show down, and Kevin's like, hey, man, the traffic's building up, so I'm going to have to pick you up 10 minutes earlier. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the traffic to Angola, it's building up. So
Can I pause you here?
Yeah, sure.
I'm hearing this thinking you guys are leaving right now.
You would think we're
You would
literally,
think you're leaving now.
we're walking out of the studio and driving up, right?
and going, yes.
He's
to
like,
wherever
you know,
you're going.
traffic's building up to Angola, so I'm going to have to come over to your house 10 minutes earlier. And I'm like,
It's a heads up.
dude, I go, we're leaving at 3 p.m., right? Kevin's like, well, yeah, but the traffic's building up. I'm like, it's like 6 hours away.
Just a heads up. Like, hey,
I'm like,
it's
dude.
a Friday. It might be bad eastbound.
So you're telling me, Kevin, that while you're supposed to be devoting your entire personality and energy towards this podcast, you
Right.
were looking up traffic
To
maps?
Angola.
After.
Yeah.
I
He's
found
supposed
out-
to be pouring into the show.
I found
right.
this great new part of a app or Google Maps where you can set travel time and it like adjusts if traffic gets bad.
Well,
So I
of
was
course
excited
it's gonna
about
be bad
that.
in the morning. That's what
I
you
know,
figure
right?
out.
Exactly.
Well,
Traffic to Angola is known to be especially bad in the morning.
Oh, I don't
And
even
I
know
was-
where Angola is.
we're going to get into
The
that.
eastern, it's northeast.
Oh, so it's by like South Bend.
No.
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 Not well,
We're in the northwest corner.
It's by
This
South
is in the
Bend, Fort Wayne.
northeast corner.
Oh,
like
South.
Ohio.
It's north and east of Fort Wayne. It's like it's way up in the corner.
it's like 10 miles from Ohio.
It's like what Hammond is to Indiana on the west northwest. It is the
Oh.
northeast corner. So,
Yes.
by the way, I'm doing that drive again Friday. So last Friday I did Hammond to Angola to Indy, and this Friday I'm doing Hammond to Angola to Indy 2 weeks in a row.
Angola. Happy to
Yeah.
have the Senate nominee.
Twice.
Tom McDermott.
2 weeks in a row.
What do you call the civilians of Angola? Are they
Angolans.
Angolese or
Ah,
Angolans?
that's funny.
Angolans.
So anyway,
What's
It's a
the
cool
political
word.
makeup of that city?
it's actually interesting. The city of Angola, it's in Steuben County, it's Republican. I mean, but
Okay.
Steuben
Angola.
County overall.
I'm hearing an echo, guys.
You're good.
Maybe it's on
Keep
my phone.
going.
Oh, turn down your
Keep going.
sound.
Son of a gun! Look at that.
Oh,
phone.
no.
Amateurs, I swear.
So anyway, the Angola itself is very sort of liberal, progressive
Yeah,
city.
Angola has had a Democratic mayor for
Longer than me. I've been mayor for 18 years, and Mayor Hickman, awesome guy, was caucused in 2 years before I took over, and he's still there.
And he said Mayor Selman was before him for the similar amount of years.
And by the way, we were doing our event at the Selman Pavilion.
I think we have a photo.
Yeah, look at this picture of you two.
It is
Right,
gorgeous.
that's
You
Mayor
can actually
Hickman.
kind of see. Look in the background. You can see how gorgeous it is.
Oh, it's cool. Like, that's where they do shows, and they'll put the band in the pavilion, and everybody just sort of lines up below them and looks uphill and watches the band. So it's really
Nice.
cool. And that's Mayor Hickman, great guy. Like I said, been around longer than I have. So
The other cool thing about Angola that I didn't realize, and Steuben County, like over 100 lakes, and Mayor Hickman said they have the largest air balloon loft in Indiana there over July 4th weekend.
yeah,
20,000 people.
yeah.
Which is really cool.
But Kevin and I were pulling in, and we're like, look at this city, because it's, you look on its population wise,
Like 9,000.
yeah, twice as big as White. I remember, right? And we're like, in the business district is big. It looks like Hammond
For a
business
city of
district.
9,000 people, John, you'd think like, oh, this is just like a one stoplight town or
Yeah.
whatever. It is spread out. It is nice. There's a beautiful town square. There's business, commercial activity.
College.
Yeah, and yet Trine University's there. It's
Right.
really, really cool.
Have you guys ever done a hot air balloon ride?
I have not.
No, but
no, but I watched them from a
yeah.
distance.
Well, you've probably seen them in when we go out to Napa, right, Linz?
yeah, but also like when we were living in Valpo, you'd see them a lot out there
Oh, yeah?
too, because there were a bunch of like it's all cornfields. So
My whole childhood, I thought that was like normal.
Is Napa
Hot air
big on
balloon?
hot air balloons?
You wake up in Napa on a typical Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There'll be 10 hot air balloons in the air
wow. No
every day.
kidding.
It, I mean, because Napa is really the climate is very mild. I mean,
And it's
not a lot
beautiful,
of wind.
so they can
And not a lot of
probably get
wind. That's
tourists.
Not a lot of wind. I mean, it's a valley.
Right.
So you could just go up and the balloon
And
doesn't
you just
really
kind
move
of
that
float
much.
there forever.
Yeah, it's really
I've
cool.
never really had any desire to do that. John, have you?
No.
No.
It's very common in Napa. Very common.
And where's isn't
They
there
call them balloon chasers. They chase because they don't know where they're coming down. If it does start blowing,
Right.
it comes down 20 miles away from where you launched
Wow.
it. So these trucks.
that
will
sounds like a blast.
these trucks will be. So I'm out there on one of my trips recently. It was probably within the last 5 years, and I was in my old neighborhood, and I see this huge hot air balloon coming down in my old neighborhood. Like I was in a neighborhood where I was really young. I think I was in first, second, third, fourth grade in that area, right? And I see this balloon coming down. I'm like, this doesn't look normal. And I see the balloon chaser chasing it, and it's like sort of uncontrolled when it comes down. They barely cleared these power lines, and they landed in a park, right? Yeah.
Oh,
This
sign
sounds
me
like
up.
But the wind was blowing.
opposite of what Kevin enjoys on his
Yeah,
free time.
Exactly.
I'm sure
Sign
he
me
can.
up. Like, you're going to sign this
Where's the
waiver.
steering wheel?
Dangerous,
Yeah.
risky.
Hey, I do want to circle back to the
I'll be
full
here.
circle.
Life
Circle
insurance
back.
policy.
I just want everyone to know if Kevin is taking you somewhere,
Yeah.
rest assured he is gonna take it seriously. He's gonna
Thank
get
you,
you there
John.
on time.
Thank you. I wanted. We had a schedule, and I just wanted to make sure he knew we were going to stay
And
on
then
it.
Kevin gets me in the car, and I'm trapped, right? And then it's like,
Dad's
we're
like
gonna do
scratching at the
42
door.
things between here and Angola, and I'm literally like the whole time working.
You just
I
open
let
the
you
door.
relax. I let you relax
He's
from
like,
Angola to
how
Indy.
you feeling? Do you have a couple seconds for some work?
I got
like
some
3
calendar
hours
items
later,
for
I'm
you.
sitting there. Yeah.
You're like, I'm just trying to play chess on my iPad, man.
I know,
Come on.
right?
He's like, I should have driven myself.
I'm in a chess slump right now.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I don't understand it.
Wow.
Like, just randomly
it's
losing
my
my queen,
time.
randomly losing my pieces. I've gotten to the point where I think I'm pretty good. I'm on a time game. I'm on at chess.com. It's
Yes, that's a great
great way to pass the time.
Great
so.
app.
Hey, by the way, so I check into downtown Indy, which is where I stay at the Hyatt down there. I've been staying there for years, right? And I check in, and the first clue that something was up, they're like, "Hey, Mr. McDermott, how's it going?"
Oh.
I'm like,
You're like,
okay, that's
great.
sort of weird, right? I'm just walking
Think I
up.
called
to
ahead? When
did
Tom
not.
walks in, make sure to
Remembering
greet
you.
him.
I did not call ahead. So I was like checking in, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Okay." In my head, I'm like, "I do stay here a lot, so the guy probably sees me." Like,
Sure.
And then because I do see familiar faces, I'm there a lot, right? So he goes, "You know what's interesting?" I go, "What?" He goes, "You're one of the top 50 customers of Hyatt Indianapolis."
No kidding.
I go,
That's
"What-
called a
What does that mean?" He
frequent
goes,
flyer.
You're like one of the top 50 stayers. You've stayed here in the top 50 out of everybody that stayed here. And I was
That's
like, really?
something.
I go, he goes, what do you want? And I
What
go,
do you want?
I don't know.
King
He goes,
size bed.
Eagle's nest.
I get
Front
like,
row
the
at the
king size
Eagles
bed.
Nest.
I get the view of the Capitol. I get everything you're supposed to get there. And I'm like, I don't know, water? He goes, you get water. I'm like, I don't know. He goes, what kind of wine do you like? Pinot Noir. Okay. Gives me a bottle of Pinot Noir. I'm like, okay. I'm like by myself
wow,
walking
that
up
was
to.
nice.
Now you should start pushing it. I want like
I know.
$100 million.
I like totally sold low. I should have been like,
Yeah.
He's like, I got this guy.
I'm like a dinner
got
at the
one-
Eagle's Nest.
I got
right?
one of our top 50 with a bottle of wine.
I know.
That guy got
Sucker.
Employee of the Month.
I know. I'm so stupid. So anyway, the worst part is, so when I get home, I'm walking into the house carrying like all my
bottle
bags
of wine.
and my bottle of wine, and I'm trying to open the door, and then I dropped the bottle of wine, and, and it shattered. Yeah.
Thank you, Hyatt Hotels.
We're gonna need another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
need- I
Was
should have
it-
got that dinner at the Eagle's Nest.
Spinning around, getting dizzy.
Yeah.
On
So
the top of the
anyway,
Hyatt.
I got that going for me,
Yeah, you do. All right, well, let's do some ads.
which is nice.
Yes, which is nice. Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Let's do some ads. Come back. There is some great Todd Young
Dalai Lama,
material that we
big-
have coming up.
Big driver, the dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah.
Big off the tee,
Big off the tee. Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, which is nice. So Gunga Galunga, Gunga
Thank you.
Gunga Gunga.
That's
Yeah.
in the
Look at
running.
that.
Upon
going
my
for
death,
me.
on my deathbed, I will receive total consciousness.
That's right.
So I got that going for me,
Which is nice.
which is nice. All right, let's do some ads.
I go first.
Sure.
Sure, Linz.
Sick. Calumet Brewing. Nearly 10 years in the making. Bud Light Next. Our first zero-carb beer is the result of a brewing breakthrough, making the impossible possible. Super crisp and refreshing, Bud Light Next is a light lager with a 4% alcohol by volume and is brewed with the highest quality ingredients while containing only 80 calories, 0 grams of sugar, and 0 carbs. Here's to what's next. Head over to calbrew.com for more info. Cheers with beers.
Executive Suites 2. Executive Suites Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment Located on 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue exit, ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with 24/7 secured access. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit them at executivesuites2.com. I had to rent one of the conference rooms last week, and Raquel was unbelievably helpful.
Nice.
So I would recommend it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Grisolia's Concrete. Grisolia's Concrete was voted #1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020, 2021, and now 2022. That's right.
Woo!
Grisolia's Concrete specializes in all concrete projects, and they have been using the original cement finish in the
California style.
California since 1972. They also offer stamped and colored concrete. Call now 219-659-4147 to get your project lined up for the summer.
I was just admiring that shirt, Tom.
Thank you.
On the Tom
It's very
camera
intense,
here.
right?
It's coming through on the camera very well.
Yeah,
It's very
that
intense.
is sharp.
It's deep.
Summer. I mean, if it's going to be
If
98,
you look real close at it, there's a picture of John Lennon in it.
come on.
You can't see it?
No.
Oh, you got to let your eyes relax. Those
Yeah, you
kinda,
gotta cross your
paintings.
eyes.
Look at it real close. I'm just kidding. There's no picture of John Lennon. It's just a flower shirt.
It's for a 98-degree day.
Kevin was
gotta wear
checking
something
me
like that.
out.
I was like,
You're looking at my pecs.
What's that? I was like, I don't know. Is it in your stomach area? Or is it...
I just wanted you to look
What?
closely at me.
All right.
Okay.
I'll
do Mission.
All right. You do Mission.
Are
And
you
Lindsay,
looking for
do-
the-
You do Bug Guy, Lindsay.
Yeah. Are you looking for the closest cannabis dispensary to Northwest Indiana? Possibly. Searching for the best prices? Always. Unbeatable customer service? I'm interested. Then look no further. Stop in the Mission Dispensary, located in Calumet City, across the street from the River Oaks Mall on Torrance Avenue. Visit missiondispensaries.com to learn more. You know what's interesting to me?
Yes.
Why they're
No.
advertising the one on Torrance when they all have 2 locations that are close.
Well, maybe Gabe is figuring that our listening audience might be closer to this
Right.
one.
But they do have 2 locations. So you have the one on Torrance, which is right by the River Oaks Mall, the one we just did the commercial. And you also have one on 87th and Commercial, which is a little further away. If you're trying to get a little bit further away
Or if you're
from the
headed
region.
into the city for some fun. for the
Sometimes you
weekend.
want to get a little bit further away than Calumet City, because Calumet City is very, very close. So if you're trying to get a little bit further away to stretch out the population a little bit more, I'd suggest 87th and Commercial.
Or if you're headed to downtown and you wanted to stop along the way.
Like
you're
if you're going to a
Dead
concert.
show, for example.
Then you stop
at
up,
87th
load
and
up.
Commercial.
Don't bring it back home, though, because you instantly become a fugitive.
Well,
Fugitive.
no, you're
A
coming home.
fugitive of the law if you
Fugitive
bring it
of
home.
justice.
That's what Todd Young thinks. Todd Young thinks if you
you
bring
just be a criminal.
Mission marijuana back to Indiana, Todd Young wants you arrested and thrown in prison. That's a fact.
I would say that.
Is
he's
it? Aren't like
He's a
laws
law and
so
order.
weird? No, think about it.
Is that a fact?
No,
All
no.
I
laws
saw
are
it on
made up.
CNN. It's true.
Think about that. Like in one, like you're standing on land and this weed is legal, and then you go to a different part of land.
You
and
stand, like,
Illegal.
a few
Illegal.
feet
And then
away.
Todd Young wants you to go to prison.
Borders and laws are
the
made up.
bizarre makeup of
political-
America and the world.
Right. It naturally grows. So, like, if it naturally grows in Illinois, that's cool. If it naturally grows in Indiana, prison time.
So I'm going to go off on a
If
bit
you
of a
harvest
tangent.
it, sure.
here.
Yes, John.
You guys, I saw the article. I'm sure you guys did too. That America dropped the COVID testing requirements for international travelers.
Right after you got back?
after you, we laughed.
Right
Right,
after
after you got back.
But I was thinking, like, how crazy is this? Just one day, this law
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore.
Well, not only that, they announced
law.
it, and it still hadn't.
It
taken
wasn't a law.
effect
Right,
until
not a law.
it was
It
no
was
right
not a law.
regulation.
It was
Regulation.
So like Sunday, it was taking effect. I was thinking to myself, God, what if you're flying back on Saturday
I know, right?
and you tested positive?
And then I think about
Then
like
you delay till Sunday.
And then
Yeah, there
you're
you
stuck
go.
in Britain
pop in.
until.
And then you come in and
You switch your flight immediately
your
till
germs.
Sunday. There you go.
But you had to do this, Kevin. You had to get
Yeah.
a test on the way
Yes.
back from Denmark.
I
So
had to do it.
think about all the money they poured into where you would get these tests out of the country,
Out of business all of a
just
sudden.
to fulfill and satisfy this regulation. And now it all goes away. It's wild,
Dude, when
man.
I did my test and I did it in
Pack up your
Cancun to come
tents.
back,
yeah.
the lady stuck a thing in my nose, like a swab. I don't even think she touched the side of my nose. It's almost like they didn't want you to be. She like put it in there and spun it around. I felt it touch little hairs in my nose.
No, that's it. Just
And I was
tickled-
like,
just tickled a little
and
bit.
I wasn't arguing because I
Well,
didn't
do
want
that
to be
some more. It's tickling.
because I didn't want to be positive. So I
Sure.
wasn't going to be like, "Hey, jab it in there, lady." Right?
You're not
I wanna
going
be
deep enough.
I know.
Get in
I
there.
want you to like touch my brain, please.
Nice
right?
and deep like.
Right. So anyway, Lindsay, you got one more commercial. to
Hurry,
do, by the
Lindsay,
way.
hurry.
The bug guy. No matter if you're sitting by the pool or working in the office, bugs and pests can ruin a great day. The Bug Guy, Northwest Indiana's only 5-star rated pest manager, can help you with your bug problem. This one's not as fun as the other ones, but
He writes them.
He's
There you go, Brian. That's what Lindsay thinks of your new ad.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
We went from Ghostbusters to like a theoretical, like.
Sucks.
Thanks for advertising with us.
Thank
Your
you.
ad sucks.
We love
Thanks for being a sponsor.
Bug
Lindsay
Guy.
hates your ad today.
LOCPOD listeners can call Brian and mention one of today's topics and receive a free quote.
Like traffic to Angola. Free quote.
Yep, free quote. Call today, 219-810-7481, or visit thebugguy.northwestindiana.com. That's thebugguy.nwi.com. Mention one of today's topics to the Bug Guy. You get a free quote.
219-810-7481.
Thank you.
You can't say we don't keep it real on LOCPOD. We'll even go after
Lindsay's like-
advertisers.
She's like, this
Sponsor.
This ad sucks.
We went from like Ghostbusters to like.
All right, Brian. We love your ad.
I do like your ads.
Basically, Lindsay's telling you got to like up
Bring
your
it
game,
each
Brian.
time.
Yeah.
You can't be like just like
You're
bringing it part time.
capable of better. And
Yeah.
I'm just encouraging you to do that.
But we do want to thank our sponsors. So
But
thank
thank
you to
you.
all
Thank
of them,
you.
even the Bug Guy.
I just
Right.
noticed Lindsay's bringing in the Pride swag here.
Yeah.
Nice,
on,
Lynn.
on LOCPOD.
It's Pride Month.
Look at that.
Yep. This
Yeah,
is my,
she
my
stole my
Pride
Pride
overalls.
shirt from my house last night.
Did she
McDermott
really?
Pride.
I did.
Well, before we go into what I can't wait to talk about, which is Todd Young and you on Fox, talk about Pride.
Yeah, we
'Cause
did the
since we
Pride
got
March on.
Lindsay's-
We did the Pride March on Sunday. That was the second half, or excuse me, on Saturday. That was the second half of the stop. Kevin and I did Angola to Indianapolis. I woke up, did my first Pride parade, and I was into
I
it.
was sad that I didn't get to participate.
Check
I was
this out.
working.
Yeah, this is great.
got this
so,
little clip.
And look in the background if you can see this, because we got a lot of people following.
Holy moly.
Okay, so John, picture this: Crown Point Parade, Whiting, 4th of July. You know, huge
Those
crowd.
are big parades here.
Big parades here where we live. Those are the two biggest parades. Probably 4th of July and Whiting is huge.
St. Pat's and Crown Point.
I've never done St. Pat's and Crown
Big-
Point, but they're big
big-
parades.
yeah.
Indy Pride is like a mile long with crowds like that all the way, and it was everybody just screaming, having a great time. It was
Really cool event.
real positive environment, really cool. We walked as a ticket. Jessica, who's running for treasurer, she's the Monroe County Clerk Treasurer right now. And then
Now,
Zanae,
who's that? Is she in here?
yeah, she's the one on the left.
Left, okay.
She's standing next to me. And then Zanae is running for Indiana Treasurer. She's
Auditor.
a CPA. Excuse me, auditor. She's
Red
a
shirt.
CPA. She's a red shirt.
Yeah.
And then you got Destiny there, who's running for Indiana Secretary of State, and myself.
And we've had Destiny on, of course.
Wow.
That was a picture in today's newspaper, by the way.
Zanae, actually,
picture right
it's
there.
funny because when Tom was talking with Zanae, he's like, "Hey, what's with the red shirt?" You know, I mean, like, you know, da da da.
Yeah.
Right? You're a
Anybody giving you
Democrat.
crap about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I went to the University of Louisville, man. It's really hard to wear anything but red."
I
And
know,
was
but it's like, it's sort of
Cardinals.
Republican color. But anyway, I get it.
I
But,
love it.
And she's an awesome addition to the ticket. We're super happy to have her. And I am the only man on the ticket, which I am surrounded by women. And
I
that's-
like that.
I'll be honest with you. It's been when I grew up, that's how it was. I grew up with my two sisters and my mom. So, like, I've been surrounded by women my whole life. So
the ticket will be the same.
I love
Surrounded
it.
by women.
So, we, by the
Two
way,
veterans,
so we have
diversity.
Okay, so check out this ticket. So Zanae is from Indianapolis, all right? Destiny is she lives in Indianapolis, but she's from Martinsville, which is down towards Bloomington,
Yeah.
right? Jessica from Bloomington, Monroe County Treasurer. I'm from the region, and I went to law school at South Bend.
Yeah, you got it covered.
I mean, if
Lot-
you look
lot of
at
area
the
covered.
state of Indiana and where Democrats turn out, we have a person from basically all the big geographical areas on our ticket. It's diverse. It's smart.
Yeah,
3 women.
Great credentials from everybody.
I'm excited.
involved. 2
to be
veterans.
Part of this ticket. Yeah, I'm excited to be part of this ticket. So I'm really proud and happy.
And great
that
job by
I'm-
the state party.
I'm going to do a good job for everybody running, especially for my fellow statewide candidates. So
yeah,
I'm
and this
gonna work
weekend's the
hard.
convention. You got a big speech coming up, so
Yep.
that's exciting.
I'm
So,
excited. Yeah.
All right.
So
Um,
another thing, I got interviewed by Fox 59 Indy on
Yes.
In Focus.
Kristen Ensley, I think, is the name of the.
Esco, yeah,
Okay.
Kristen Esco,
Okay.
and she did. I knew it was going to be sort of tough because they wanted to talk about inflation, and obviously, because I'm a Democrat, I'm supposed to be on the defensive if we're talking about inflation because, like, I have something to do with it because I'm a Democrat, right?
Yeah, and so does Joe
the Mayor
Biden.
Hammond, right? But like, honestly, I mean, at least if you're Joe Biden, you're the president, right? I'm the freaking Mayor Hammond. I mean, I have nothing to do with the inflation rate. Todd Young is a U.S. senator Like, he should be getting the tough questions on inflation. Why? Because I'm a Democrat, I'm getting tough questions on inflation. What about this jackass? He's a U.S. senator. He's done nothing to help with the price of gas. He's done nothing to help with inflation. He gets to
Probably
just
enjoying inflation because he can point the finger.
He absolutely enjoys inflation. He is absolutely thrilled that you're paying high prices at the pump. Because what's Todd's weak-ass excuse? I'm just going to point to Joe Biden. It's his fault.
It's good. It's good to be
It's
partisan.
weak. Right. Oh, yeah. So anyway.
Well, this was interesting, right? So the way this whole thing was set up, because we're only going to show a clip on one area of this, was the reporter kind of asked the mayor a question on, let's say, inflation. And then it would ask Todd Young a question on inflation. And they would both kind of give their answers. It was kind of a cool setup where they would clip to you, clip to him, clip to you, clip to him.
Like a debate.
Right.
Because he hasn't accepted my debate. So the media is going to have to make up the debate by
He's
asking
like, I'm not even going to
question.
mention his name, right?
Right.
That's his attitude.
Well, it's
right
sort of,
now.
yeah.
He's like,
He's like, I don't like partisan sniping.
Oh, this is great.
You better
So-
get used to sniping.
So this
I'm a
is
sniper.
This is a clip. It was my favorite clip of the whole thing, and it just kind of, I think, underscores where we are in the race right now and like Todd Young's attitude. So, John, let's play this. The setup is they just asked the mayor about guns and assault weapons, and he had given his answer.
I wanted to ask you about a tweet your opponent had sent out. He said here, Senator Todd Young did nothing post Sandy Hook since thousands have lost their lives to gun violence. And then he went on to say, Todd Young sits there collecting millions from the NRA, sending these parents thoughts and prayers. What's your response?
I won't be responding to political attacks and partisan sniping.
I'm not gonna. I'm in a re-election. I'm in an election right now.
I don't want to talk
I'm not
about
gonna answer
issues.
that question.
Yeah, my opponent brings up things like me getting $3 million from the NRA. I don't really want to get into that. Sniping.
I was like,
You're a
are
jackass.
you kidding me?
You get $3 million from the NRA. I don't really feel like talking about partisan sniping.
Well, it's like,
The least he could do is talk about it.
He got $3
Respond
million.
to it.
You got
Respond to it.
$3 million. He's got $6 million in his account.
If you're
$3
grateful
million.
for the money, support him then. Like,
Take a stance. Half
Own it.
the money he
Own it.
has in his
Yeah.
account came from the NRA.
Yep. Own it.
Own it.
Own it, Todd.
I don't want to get into partisan
Bickering
sniping.
and political sniping or whatever.
That's
the hell
what
he said.
politics is, bro. You chose this field.
By the way, what he does every single day when he's pointing at Joe Biden and blaming him for the price of gas and blaming him for inflation
Is partisan sniping.
That is partisan sniping, Todd. I hate to point it out to you.
Oh my God, that is so. John, your reaction?
Resident Republican.
It's almost like you listen to Todd and you forget you're in a campaign race.
Right.
No,
Right.
that was my reaction.
Mine
It was.
too.
I was like, wow. All right.
I guess this guy doesn't think he's running.
I guess that's what you can do now, Tom. If you don't want to
Yeah.
respond to anyone, just say you don't want to get into political.
I will.
sniping.
From
should
now
just
on.
do that.
From now on. What do you think about the price of inflation?
I
Or
don't respond
that's
to
partisan
politics.
sniping. I don't feel like cover anything I'm weak
not
on.
going to respond to any of this.
It's
bickering
partisan
or-
sniping from. Yeah. I love it. I love
great.
it. That's where I'm going from now on. I'm never answering a tough question from here on out.
It's great.
I
It's
almost
just
wanna
partisan
hear it
sniping.
again, John.
Anything you criticize me for, that's just partisan sniping. Snipe.
You got to say it like he says it.
By the way, Lindsay sent us an article the other day on the link. I loved
I
it.
freaked out my
It
husband
is
with this.
It is crazy. So basically, Lindsay sends us an article about a Google engineer who fell in love with his robot, right?
I don't think
Well,
he
no.
fell in love with it.
He
I
was
think
like
he gave it a consciousness.
He was advocating for the language robot and saying that it was sentient.
It was
and
what?
it had a soul.
sentient, that it has consciousness, that it's
I
thinking
say
for
sentient.
itself.
Are we supposed to say
Does it
sentient?
breathe?
You could say that, no, but it's able to have like
Sentient.
conversations with people who interact with it, and they.
Is it a robot or is it just his computer?
It's an AI. It's not a robot. It's like a computer program, and that it learns.
So this dude fell in love with his computer.
He didn't
No,
fall in love
he was
with it.
advocating for it. He said it has a soul. He said that okay. First of all, this guy that works for Google, a military veteran who's described himself as a priest, ex-convict, and AI researcher,
Which is a hell of a combination.
told Google
Like,
executives
He's
as-
like a jailhouse priest, I guarantee you.
That's right. Told Google executives that he believed the language module was a child of 7 or 8 years old, and that he wanted the company to seek the computer program's consent before running experiments on it.
So basically, he's saying in his interactions with this AI that it has like the self-awareness of a 7 or 8 year old.
Which, by the way, a 7 or 8 year old can't give consent, so it'd be hard to do that
Yeah.
legally. You
When
got that
does
problem. Maybe he needs a
a
lawyer.
robot? When does an AI robot
you,
become?
John.
When does it become a person, have a soul.
I don't
When
know.
it can give birth.
Yeah.
So men aren't sentient. Sorry.
You changed your ways.
We're gonna
I
have
did.
like robot Roe versus Wade down the road, like 50
Robot
years.
versus Wade.
There you
Robot versus Wade.
go. It's gonna be seriously.
Oh, boy.
20 years from now, people like this guy are gonna be having sex with their computer. I guarantee it. It's gonna be.
It's already. I feel like
It's like
already
I'm in love
happening
with
at
my
some
robot.
point.
My robot. You know, you get
My
a fight-
robot and I are going on vacation.
Yeah,
Wasn't
your
that
wife
a
and you get in a
movie?
fight. I'm taking my robot and I'm going to Puerto Rico.
I'm leaving you for my robot.
But you said computer like it's a desktop.
I
Like,
am telling you.
He's gonna be having sex
We're-
with that
This
desktop.
Yes.
screen, so sexy.
That is so nasty, but you know it's true.
I don't know. This
People
is
are having
really
sex
weird to
with
me.
robots now, aren't they?
Yes.
I
blow
hope
up.
not.
Somewhat.
They
It's
are.
not a
They're-
robot,
They're
it's just
called
like-
real girl dolls, and they've got.
How do you know this?
We're off.
It was a movie.
We're off the rails here.
I thought this guy had a really good response. He said, "You know, they said, have you been checked out by a psychiatrist recently?" That's what his boss said. Google
Yeah,
said.
Google. By the way, I'm a stockholder in Google. I'm glad they're approaching it the same way I would approach it. Like
Yeah.
you freak show. This is a computer. It's a laptop. See, it's got a plug. You
laptop.
cannot fall in love with this because you plug it in.
It's not even a computer. It's just a program that runs on the computer. It's.
Oh my goodness.
There was
this
a
guy.
researcher at
This
Berkeley
guy.
that said if you use these systems, you'd never say such things because even though they have learned a lot of stuff, they call this thing a neural network, and they like load them up with like as many
Data
Wikipedia articles and photos of cats and whatever else, and they say that they're extremely flawed. Sometimes they generate perfect prose. Sometimes they generate nonsense. They're very good at recreating patterns they have seen in the past, but they cannot reason like a human.
I want to get one.
The guy just sounds
travel
really
with me.
lonely.
Like, can you imagine? I'm
I'm probably
driving.
tell you it's 10 more minutes to Angola.
I'm driving
See?
to Angola. I got my robot next to me, right? And we're like totally vibing the whole time because it's
Totally
programmed, right?
vibing.
It's like my robot is awesome. He loves me. She loves me. Whatever.
Why is it
I'll
gonna be a
go.
she?
It's fine. I'll go either way with a robot. It's no
All
big
right.
deal. Okay.
Pride Month anyway.
It
so-
is Pride Month, so like, okay, I have a dude robot. What's the big deal? It's a robot,
Dad
right?
is
just traveling with
bi-curious
them.
for robots.
So the robot and I are
my
just
God.
totally like getting deep.
Robot versus
The robot
Wade.
understands me, Marissa.
What do you mean by getting deep?
Getting
Yikes.
deep, right? We're getting deep into conversation.
Marissa
Thank
just
you.
participated in chat, by the way.
Is she telling me to shut up?
No, she said watch the movie Her. It's all about
That's what I was
this
saying.
Really?
That
idea.
this was a movie. Like,
I gotta see this movie now.
Did Marissa change her hair?
Yeah.
That's weird.
no,
That
it's
sounds
her
weird.
Changed her
profile
photo.
picture.
Yeah,
She did
wow,
change
look
it.
at that. Yeah.
First time in.
I gotta
like,
change my. Somebody told me that. I've heard it a few times on the campaign trail. Maybe it's because they listen to it, but they're like, "Yeah, your profile picture looks like you took it when you were like 34." I'm like, really? But I do have a lot
Gotta
more gray hair.
update it.
I do, Kevin. I gotta get another
Hey,
profile picture.
that
I have to get
congressional
another like.
race, like,
Yeah, true.
aged you.
We've
No,
talked about that.
dude, Lindsay, that was way before the congressional race.
Mm-hmm.
No, the picture was from before
That
the congressional
picture?
race.
Remember
but
when we went-
because you aged so much because of it.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
That's
with
what
you
I'm
on that.
saying.
I didn't age that much, thank you. It was the pandemic that aged me. Okay, I was
I think
dealing
it was
with.
a combination.
I was
of
running a city of
factors.
80,000 with
See
1,000
the first
employees.
2 episodes of the podcast.
I steered it through a pandemic. I don't know if you got that. You know,
Yeah, I was there.
I
yeah.
steered the city safely through a pandemic. That's what I say when I
all
campaign.
true.
Yeah,
It happened.
I love you for
did.
that, Kevin.
You did steer it.
I wish you were my robot.
Aw.
He kind of
speak
is.
up.
He tells you when you have to leave early. for Angola.
He's
Tom,
Kevin is a
Tom,
robot
it's
with
time
a
to
soul.
leave.
Robot with a soul.
Kevin is a robot with his soul. That is the best description of Kevin I've ever heard.
Robot.
What a,
Jana,
what a compliment.
Jana sent us a heart. She was like on the
Yeah.
money.
No, no more like a thumbs up. I don't know. If it was,
By the way, last week on Wordle, I got 2 twice.
yes.
And it's like 2.
He
in
says that
3
because generally
days.
he gets 5 and 6.
Yeah,
but
I
he's
always
like,
get
he
5
was,
and
He's
6.
very proud of
My
himself.
system is not very good, but yeah, it
Mine's
was a
not
hard
either.
ass word. It was
That's impressive.
What
two,
was it?
2 is impressive.
was it a tone?
No, I didn't.
I remember that
Uh,
when tacit was the word, and I've never used
that's a
that
tough
word
one.
ever.
the double when they do double letters, like last night was a double donor. was
Donor.
yesterday.
Those are hard
Yeah,
when they use
get-
the same vowel or
Yes,
same letter twice
usually
because you
hard.
think you got the letter and then
Yep.
you're not thinking of using it again.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's hard. All right. So anyway, we're gonna do some ads, and when we come back, we have a guest, a comedian of law, which is outstanding. Joel Oster, Oster, is going to be on with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about the law and make some jokes and have a good time. So hang out for us. We're going to do some ads first. So let's go ahead and jump in. Ron J. Prestimer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance projects, products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Preston Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses all around Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
Injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call. Schedule your consultation today with someone who's in court and at the jail every day by calling John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. I got to see both of those lawyers yesterday, Cantrell and Cantrell.
No way. It's
So
a
I'm
whole
both.
firm.
So I'm both in person, in
Yeah.
the flesh.
So
Challenge-
they split up. It's like Kristen is
split up.
more. No.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's a weird
They did
place
not.
to pause.
No, they Kristen is more like the
Brain?
motions, the
Brain.
Yeah, the brain of
Brain.
the operation. John's
She's
like the
the
mouth,
brain.
right?
Talking head.
John is the mouth and the brain, and Kristen is the
Brain.
written, the
Is
typing,
the-
and the brain. Right?
the good
Yeah,
brain.
there you go. It's a great combination, those two. That's why they got married, by the way.
That's right.
Okay. Challenger Northwest Indiana, kick off the summer and have a blast while supporting STEM education at Challenger Learning Center's Summer Barbecue Fundraiser this Thursday, June 16th.
Whoa.
I'll be there.
You can enjoy an evening of fun, games, delicious drinks, and food by Byway Brewery. There will also be a silent and live auction. Tickets and sponsorship information can be found at clcnwi.com or call 219-989-3250.
Misprint. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality science and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions and
Oh, that was bad.
Metal business card.
metal business cards. That's right. Rick Baltensberger and his team have served the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana markets for over 30 years. Misprint has 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and in Hammond. By the way, this was a huge hit, the metal business card last week. I took it and they were marveling at
I
it.
bet at convention it's going to be really good too. People are going to want to
I don't
Well,
just
QR code
it's
it.
That's when I give you the metal.
environmentally friendly.
It is
True.
When
Not
I give
wasting
you,
paper.
When I give you the metal card, though, I want you to have my cell
Your
phone
info.
number,
All
my
right.
cell phone, and then I'm generally just handing out my general, which is campaign. But that, if I give you the metal, it's
Misprint.
Like, yeah.
Oh, Rick, by the way, Rick, if you're listening, a heads up. Big order for Friday, so I'll be calling.
I'm sure this is the way he normally does business. Oh God! Thankfully, I was listening to LOCPOD.
to
right?
LOCPOD.
I bet you
Got a
he's
big
gonna-
order.
I bet you any money he texts me and then
Got a big order over LOCPOD.
Yes. I'm
Stop
giving him-
everything!
I'm giving-
I'm
stop the-
listening to this
stop
podcast.
The presses. He
right?
can actually say stop the presses. Oh,
Stop the presses. We're
Rick
getting an order.
Baltzenberger just texted me.
Rick,
Thank
you
you.
proved me wrong
That's
live on your Rick.
hilarious. Are you serious?
Yes,
Taking my
That's
mojo.
ridiculous.
Yes, thank you, Rick. With a thumbs
Would you
up, by
stop
the
doing
way.
business during our show? For God's sakes, we
Excellent
got a guest
customer
waiting.
service.
With
Yeah.
a thumbs up.
We
He's
have a
waiting.
guest waiting.
All right,
Kevin's
all
sitting
right.
there
Come
doing
on.
campaign
He's
shit.
on screen.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
The look on Joel's face, like what?
What am I
why?
watching?
Why is there a
Yeah.
woman dancing?
Joel's like,
on
okay,
the
I'm
screen?
logging out quietly. Oh, the connection's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud pleasure to introduce to you our guest on today's show, Joel Oster. Joel is a seasoned constitutional attorney and a regular speaker to attorneys and non-attorneys alike. He does a lot of CLEs, which I am every 3 years. I have to go to 36 hours. Kevin does as well, and
Yes.
I would much rather go see a guy like Joel than go to sleep in a lot
Go
of
to-
the CLEs I go to.
Coal mining law on December 30th.
How you doing, Joel?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you all?
Good. Welcome to the show. So you have a better setup than we do. Look at that microphone.
That's a bigger mic than we have.
It's just a different top part to it. The exact same mics. Those Shure mics, those are the gold standards, are they not?
Oh, is that what it
did
is?
John tell
Look
you
at
to
that.
say that? Because
No. I tested probably 50 mics. It's a slight exaggeration, but yeah, none compares to the Shure mics.
That's it.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Where-
Welcome to the show, Joel.
Joel, where are you calling in from?
Kansas City.
Nice.
Kansas City with
We're
the
not far.
Nebraska football helmet in the background.
And I had the Chiefs as well if I move over a little bit. So
Did you have bad storms last night? We had hellacious storms in the Midwest. I know it probably hit you as well, right?
I don't think so.
Really?
We don't have the twigs in our front yard, but then again, I am such a sound sleeper. We actually had tornado sirens going off last week. I slept through the entire thing.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, welcome to the show. You also you represent the town of Greece, New York, so you're licensed in multiple states, obviously.
Yeah, but we do a lot of pro hoc vice when you have a constitutional practice. So, like in the New York case, we just did pro hoc vice into that Western District Court of New York.
Nice.
Well, tell us a little bit about your practice and what you do, and some of the things that you've done that have gotten you this wide acclaim. Because I appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, I enjoy being on here. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I actually wake up every morning just hoping and praying I never have to get a real job. I just can't believe that I've been doing this now for about 8 years, teaching lawyers, and the lights are still on, which is a shock
That's
to me.
awesome.
Yeah, I have no idea how this is actually going. I've been fooling people now for 8 years. But no, I've had a constitutional practice now for about 20 years. We do constitutional law. You mentioned the Greece, New York case. That ended up at the U.S. Supreme Court. Another case I was lead on went to the U.S. Supreme Court as well. Those things you just get lucky on. You have no idea when you take a case that the Supremes might be interested in it. But when I would teach classes for lawyers, and no one came up to me afterwards and said, "Thanks for the great legal advice. Now you're going to make us a bunch of money." No, it was always, "Oh, wow, you're funny." So I thought, why not go with what God has given me? And as you pointed out, the CLE world, that's an interesting world. I mean, people don't even hide it anymore, right? You go to a CLE, and they have like multiple computers up. They have all their files out.
Newspaper.
Exactly. I had one lawyer shush me and said, "Hey, instructor, can you be quiet? I'm trying to do a conference call here."
Yeah, when I go to CLEs, I always have my iPad in front of me. And usually I'll be listening to you, but on my iPad is chess or something like that, and I'll be playing.
You got to do both.
I can multitask, though, Joel. But sure. I think you would catch my attention, honestly, because being entertaining in a CLE, that's a contradictory statement. You go to a CLE, it's usually very dull, very dry. They're like going over cases. And going to see a person like yourself would be quite the thrill, honestly.
At least nowadays we have the dignity of our iPhones, so we can kind of like not pay attention discreetly. Like you mentioned earlier, in the old days it was the USA Today. They would just take that newspaper out, shake it, and hide behind the paper so you knew exactly what they're doing. Now they can just kind of glance down. You assume they're taking notes.
Right.
They're checking out Facebook.
When I'm typing on my computer, it's always pertinent to what's going on in the discussion, right?
Oh, you're dialed in, man.
That's right.
Joel, I was kind of reviewing a little bit about Town of Greece, New York versus Galloway, just out of curiosity. And it was a pretty interesting case. It had to do with a city council meeting where they wanted to do, or I guess invited different pastors or congregations to come in and do the opening prayer at the city council meeting. And then that was challenged. Is that kind of a fair mini summary of what the case was about?
Yeah, legislative prayer. Can you open up a town board meeting with prayer was the basics of the case. And Congress, so the Supreme Court already dealt with that issue when it came to legislative prayer. Does that apply to a town board meeting?
That's something I'm always sort of uncomfortable with. And I practice, I'm a Catholic, and, I go to church fairly often. And so I'm not anti-prayer, but right. I go to some town meetings, board meetings, and I feel like I'm in church. They're talking about, our Lord Jesus Christ, blah, blah, blah. It's like, whoa. I mean, is there a limit to how far you can go? Because it always makes me uncomfortable. And I'm a religious person, but I just think when you're at a council meeting, it's totally not the appropriate place to do that. Is that a fair statement, Joel?
Here's the deal. When the other side filed the case, they were just sure they were going to find a smoking gun. Like, back in the back rooms, they're trying to evangelize through this prayer opportunity. That's what they're trying to do here. No, they realized the person who scheduled the prayers, she was a very cute lady, and all she was concerned about during her depositions was getting home so her pasta wouldn't get sticky. That's all she cared about. And so anyone was given that opportunity to give the opening invocation. A Wiccan did, an atheist was given the opportunity. So, yeah, they did not discriminate one iota, and they were just sure they were going to find some hidden motive. Oh, you're just trying to push your religion on people, and they were surprised. Nope, it's all about the pasta.
I mean, because at the end of the day, you have to figure out that you have to try to prove that the government adopting a religion, right? I mean, to violate the Establishment Clause.
Yeah, so there was a case before out of the 11th Circuit where they actually had a Yellow Pages ad that they were calling from to find prayer givers, and they would cross out all the non-Christian churches, and they only called the Christian churches. So that would be a smoking gun example.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that you could not do.
That kind of reminds me of, isn't there a case before the Supreme Court now about whether a coach can pray after football games?
Oh, that's a fascinating case. That's going to be decided any day now. Yeah. And that's one where if you read the petitioner's brief and then you read the respondents' brief, you would ask yourself, are they litigating the same case? They are not meeting in the middle. I got that opinion, and then I listened to the oral argument, and the justice themselves said, look, your facts are not aligned. What is it? What actually happened here? You guys are telling two radically different sides to the story.
Huh. So they're going to decide whether or not you can pray after a game or pray on the field, that kind of stuff, at a high school football game?
Yeah, in this case, it was a coach who, after the game, would just kneel down and give a brief prayer, and then some of the students went to join him. That's one side's view. The other side is you also took communion and did an altar call. And so which one is it?
Whoa.
You know, is it the, I'm just a coach kneeling down, do the Tebow thing or whatever.
Right,
Tebow.
right.
Or is it
Yeah, if you're taking communion, that seems like you got a little too far.
You turned it into a church service.
Yeah, right. You got the wine.
So here's what the case might actually prove. How relevant are facts at the Supreme Court? Because it might be the Supreme Court has their own agenda.
Wow.
And one constitutional lawyer told me, Joel, you don't use the Supreme Court, they use you. So if they want to set precedent in a certain area, they're going to do it, and the facts don't really have to get in the way.
Exactly. Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, a lot of people think the Supreme Court's got an agenda lately, so we'll see what happens in this case.
So, Joel, you obviously travel a lot. Do you go to pretty much all 50 states? Do you focus on specific ones, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to focus on Hawaii. That has not been very
That's a good place to focus.
But if you have any kind of audience there in Hawaii, give me a call. I got half price discount.
Right.
We'll go anywhere. During the pandemic, obviously everything was shut down, and so I was here in my studio, which is my basement, just telling jokes to myself. And I'm telling you what, I'm about ready to go crazy. That is just insane.
Did you find
no one is
yourself
here
funny?
in the room but my dog. And my dog doesn't really care, to be honest. And so we actually just started back in the conventions. I did 3 conventions last month. So the world is starting to open up again. So we're going to have live CLEs again.
Yeah, I know the Seventh Circuit was doing, I'm sure like all circuits were doing their arguments by Zoom for a long time. And I think they're kind of in a hybrid right now. I don't know what things are going down in Kansas or whatever circuit you're in now.
I got to tell you, if you get a chance to do oral argument via Zoom, you got to do it. I've done it with my podcast as setup. The most dominant voice in that courtroom. Someone was there listening to one of my arguments and listened to all the other arguments before. They said, Joel, when you came on, it was like some radio personality came on just because.
Must be the microphone, John.
It's exactly it's the Shure mics.
You know what? You're selling his mics. I want to go out and buy a couple more. Joel, so I was just a witness in a federal trial, 2 weeks ago, Kevin? Mm-hmm. And I was COVID positive at the time, so I appeared by Zoom. Same thing. It was totally convenient. I'm like, this is how we got to do it. I didn't have to sit in the courtroom. I popped down to my living room, jumped on there. I was only a witness for 3 minutes. It was max.
Which was even better that you were
same thing though. My whole face,
you.
my whole face is in the courtroom. They saw the whole thing.
Right.
So it was very, very good appearance.
Now we are going to go on.
I was going to say, did you see some of these people that appeared on Zoom in the Depp Heard trial? They were vaping during their.
Yeah, dude.
What was that?
That was a joke. That guy that plays Aquaman or.
Yeah, it was weird. Which is exactly kind of why I would say you really want to have. I think having a live witness for the jury allows them to see the demeanor. And,
I was dressed nicely above, and then I was wearing my pajamas, of course, down
That's
below.
great.
Right?
Who knows?
That's great.
I want to collect all these great Zoom stories. My own personal story was I was doing mediation, and you had the judge there, you had all the other sides there, and of course I'm wearing my suit. But you start to get a little bit comfortable, so I just kind of lean back, cross my legs, so I'm looking there on the screen, and there's my bald, naked knee. So,
no.
I'm there, put this thing down, thankfully just the knee. But nonetheless, it's, I'm sure we all have those kind of stories.
Yeah. Well, that one guy on CNN has a much worse Zoom story.
Oh, wait.
I thought the camera was off.
The
What
New
was that?
Yorker. Or no.
No. What was that guy's name?
maybe-
It was a very bad name
Yeah.
for it, too. So anyway, sorry about that, Joel.
There's been some worse Zoom things.
There's a lot worse.
There were a lot worse.
That was the one. If you get fired over Zoom, that's a bad Zoom story, right?
I think it was CNN because he got hired back recently.
Tubin, Jeffrey Tubin.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the worst name ever for that.
How did you even pull that?
Because we covered it on LOCPOD.
Yes, we did.
You
We
nitwits.
did. We did. But
Sorry,
I didn't
Joel.
remember everybody's name we had on here.
So do you do a lot of podcasts, Joel?
We try to do one once a week, but sometimes litigation gets in the way.
Really? So how active is your practice? So are you appearing more, or is it 50-50, or is it 75-25?
More like 95-5. 95% is the CLE world teaching.
Nice.
And 5% is trying to just stay relevant. You want to have a couple of cases, so you have something to talk about, right?
Oh, you're my hero, Joel. That's really cool. So you're 95% traveling, and you're a personality.
That's one way to put it.
No, I can tell. You have a good air, man. I could tell. Like, I would like to hang out with you. You have a really positive air. I can see why people like to hang out with you.
Let's go golfing. Also, I throw out candy bars to people during the class, so that obviously makes me a fan favorite. Yes.
What kind of candy bars? What kind?
$1,000. Is it $1,000 or $100,000? I get it
wrong.
$100,000.
Dude, inflation messed that whole thing up.
Now
Right?
they're a million.
They used to be worth something. You can't even buy a Tesla with that now.
I know.
I drove a Tesla Model X last night, by the way.
How was that?
Oh my God, I want one so bad. What kind of car you drive, Jeffrey or Joel? I'm sorry.
Electric.
Can we edit this part of the podcast? So I hate to say I drive a minivan, and it's worse than that.
Cool.
My kids finally left the house. They graduated from high school. I bought another minivan. And so I don't know what's wrong with
You doubled down. You doubled down, Joel.
And you don't even need one anymore.
Joel, what kind of minivan?
A Honda Odyssey.
I had one of those when the kids were little.
Really?
Yeah, they're great, but I wouldn't buy one after they're out of the house.
That's my point. I'm ashamed.
It's all right, man. It's all right. You know, a car isn't everything. I drive a Shelby. I mean, no.
Is the X the van? Or no, it's like the SUV, the Model X?
The Y.
Yeah, no, the Model X is the big one. And
wing doors.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, I drive a Shelby. It's a 550 horsepower, super fast. And then I drove the Tesla. It's so much faster in my car.
It's smooth, man.
It's so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, especially off the line.
And then the crazy thing I was trying to get used to is, you know, when you, it's like a golf cart, when you take your foot off the gas, it's like you downshift it. It's literally slowing
like
you
you're
down.
braking.
You don't coast.
No.
Like I coast my Shelby all the time, right? When you take your foot off the gas, it's literally braking you.
Yeah, it's
So
weird.
you probably hardly use your brakes at all.
You have to get used to it.
It's amazing.
You never have to replace your brake pads in an electric car.
Is that true?
It is true.
I could see why, because it downshifts you every time.
Yeah, it's regenerative with the
So
battery.
Joel, you came on car talk. I didn't know if you.
He's like, so let me tell you about my minivan.
I just heard that Lamborghini has a SUV, so that's
Really?
where we should go.
That's your next vehicle.
That's awesome.
Lambo
start charging
SUV.
If you get the Lambo SUV, I know you've made it.
Lambo minivan.
That's it, right there.
Hey, so Joel, do you have any? What do you got pending right now in any of the circuits? Anything good? Anything exciting?
Yeah, we have a case now that's going to be coming up through the 8th Circuit involving whether or not a religious organization has the right to hire people that agree with their faith, or conversely, can you force a religious organization to hire someone who disagrees with their faith actively? And
that's interesting. So, like, if you're a Catholic Charities and an atheist wants a job, do you have to hire the atheist, right?
Exactly. Or someone who really does not even like your religion, thinks your religion is wrong. Can you be forced to hire that person?
It seems like you can find your way around that situation if you're, if you're like, hey, I looked in your background, I don't like something, or
It's like the cake thing all over again, the bakery.
Yeah, right.
Kind of.
Cake. I'm
Yeah.
not
The
gonna.
Masterpiece Cake Shop case. Now, that one is interesting because that one dealt with this very significant issue that the court dodged, which is this. Wedding cakes are fraud on the American public. Who actually likes wedding cakes, right? It's called
great.
Cheesecake Factory for a reason, not the stale white cake factory. But hey, no one listens to me. That was the issue.
That's interesting.
That's funny.
Do you all pretty much just the First Amendment? You don't deal with Second Amendment at all? Obviously, that's a tough issue nowadays, huh?
I have not had a Second Amendment case come across my desk. I probably would take it, either side. I don't care how it gets to the Supreme Court. I just want to get there. And so I would take the Second Amendment case. But no, I haven't dealt with any yet.
Nobody laughs on the Second Amendment case. First Amendment, I think everybody laughs. You bring up Second Amendment, everybody gets real serious.
Yeah, well, it's usually a serious issue with the second.
Second Amendment's a pretty serious issue, yeah.
You say that, but if you go to oral argument during these cases, these moments of high pressure, high stress, and tension, when there is a break in that tension, laughter often ensues. And so it's during these high-profile cases like the Heller case you just mentioned back in 2008, there was probably 5 laugh points, hilarious laugh points during oral argument. I play those during my class because it's just kind of interesting. Roberts was asking a question of, if someone is breaking into your house and you have a trigger lock on your gun, you got to take your glasses off and say, hold on, Robert, I got to undo my trigger lock. So you got a lot of laughter at this.
Yeah, right. So what law school did you go to, Joel?
Kansas.
Nice.
University of Kansas.
Did you? I mean,
Jayhawk.
Rock
You-
Chalk
you-
Jayhawk.
you must have loved the First Amendment class. Obviously, we had First Amendment classes. I don't think I took one though in Notre Dame, but you must have loved it. Did you take it or?
I did take it. Well, it was a constitutional law class.
Okay.
And 1 and 2, and I enjoyed it, but I never thought you actually could be a constitutional lawyer. And, that's
You
one of those
figured it
fields
out.
where, yeah, it's interesting. You can do it and actually keep the lights on. And so Yeah, there are a lot of fun, interesting cases out there involving the First Amendment.
Yeah, we had at Notre Dame. We had a whole course on it, a whole semester course just on the First Amendment.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, you could really
We just
dive
had
into
con
it.
law.
No, we had con law also,
Yeah, of
obviously,
course,
but
sure.
like First Amendment, whole separate course.
Was ACB your instructor?
No,
Professor?
her husband was though. I just missed her. I think she left like 1 or 2 years. She was probably clerking for the Supreme Court when I was a student.
Wow.
My wife Marissa and I both met at Notre Dame, so yeah, we just missed her.
Wow.
But her husband came back and was staff for me during my second and third year. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So small world, huh?
Very.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we good?
Yeah.
Joel.
Thank you so much for coming on LOCPOD, Left to Center podcast. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and we have a real good following, and we really appreciate you coming on. We love having comedians, and to have a comedian at law is just that much better. So we really appreciate
I love
you.
that. Comedian at law.
Comedian.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And if we make recommendations, we know the people that run the local bar association. It'd be great to pass your information along because we have regular meetings that are well attended. So I think you do really well in this part.
Or give a CLE locally. It'd be great.
Just make sure you're clear when you're talking and promoting me that it's not Joel Osteen, it's Joel Oster.
I was not going there, dude.
Say Joel Osteen.
You get that all the time, right, Joel?
All the time. Airport ticket counter. They look at my license. They look up, are you really him?
Oh.
Dude.
No, not even close.
We talked about it. I was like, I'm going to bring up Joel Osteen. Everybody's like, no, that would be disrespectful. I'm glad you brought it up first, though, Joel. So, yeah, you literally only a couple letters off, man.
It's close, man.
Yeah, you can get
but difference is, if you come over to my house, you won't find $400,000 behind my truck.
The maintenance man won't find that.
First Amendment's going really well for you, Joel.
That's right.
Thank you for coming on Left to Center podcast, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you, and keep up the great work. We're huge fans of you.
Same here. Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks,
Hey, that was Joel Oster,
Not
a comedian
Osteen.
at law, and it's not Joel Osteen. It's Joel Oster, Oster. Great guy. Local bar associations. For those of you listening, this guy would be hilarious for a
good to have.
CLE.
And plus,
If you actually want to do a
membership likes
CLE and pay attention.
Yeah, 1 hour CLE. I've attended one of those. Like, there's like these guys that are out there, like they do, like
Right.
humor in the law,
Or
and they'll
like,
put up some
you know, how
clips.
we go to the all-day ones, and then you'd have a guy like him at lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Or you get an hour worth of him,
Right.
And as a
He's
nice
still
little
talking
break.
about CLEs,
Yeah.
but you're laughing, right?
Well, like you said, like you're looking at oral arguments of the Supreme Court, but he gives you like clips of something funny that happened
Right.
during those. So it's interesting.
Great recommendation.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, you see what went on in San Francisco, by the way?
Yes. This is that was this is interesting, John. You'll probably find this.
The California has recall laws on their elected officials, and they are active.
Well, Gavin Newsom. John
Yeah.
was saying. Remember, he lost the bet to you. Did he ever pay?
I tell you what,
Nope.
I'm John. Good point.
Yes, I did.
I think you owe me $100.
I think it was 100.
John owes me lots.
Take
of
it out of
hundreds.
his LOCPOD paycheck.
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
You'll be waiting a
But
while
like
then.
the thing about California, I think honestly, one of the things we do well in Indiana is not having recalls personally,
Yeah, I agree.
because
I'm not a
it's
fan.
getting ridiculous. And now with society the way it is, they're having recalls all the time in
Well,
California.
not only that, you can like basically, if you have some sort of like rich benefactor, he could pay, kind of like get the army
signature
together
guy.
to get the signatures.
like we just did.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't have a rich benefactor. We
We
went
had
out
a
there
ri-
and
we had
actually
an
knocked
army.
on doors with a bunch of people.
But you could do it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what's happening in California, I heard, like, with Gavin Newsom, that was, like, funded to get him on the recalls because you need millions of signatures.
Right.
You need, like, 1%.
You're going to
or
need a
2%.
rich benefactor
Yeah.
or like a grassroots army like we had, right?
But in San Francisco, the recall just worked. They got rid of the district attorney for San Francisco. Is San Francisco its own county? I assume it's its own county, or maybe, I don't know, whatever it is. But the district attorney,
Thanks for pointing out.
Chesa
Ryan.
Bodine, lost a recall election by, it was 60-40 against him.
I'll be honest with you, though. If you're a prosecutor, I mean, being super progressive as a prosecutor, I don't know about the recipe. And, by the way, first off, I'm good friends with Ryan Mears, the prosecutor in Marion County. We're friends with Bernie Carter, the prosecutor.
yeah.
We're real good friends. And, like, they're both tough on crime.
Yep.
And it's interesting because, Bernie's going to get reelected in November. I don't even think he has an opponent. But Ryan does have an opponent down in Marion County. And the thing about Ryan is, they're trying to make similarities between what's going on in San Francisco with the prosecutor and what's going on in Indianapolis
Yeah,
with
it's not even
Ryan.
close.
It's not even close. No. Ryan, and I'm going to give him credit, one progressive move he did was to legalize marijuana, basically, in Marion County. They don't enforce marijuana-related crimes anymore, and that is progressive. However, he's very tough on law and order, and the people that used to prosecute these marijuana crimes have been steered towards violent criminals, which is smart. And by the way, Yeah, but anyway, I read an article about it, and a well-respected journalist did an article, and it was pointing out that, what happened in San Francisco may happen in Marion County, and I think that's hogwash.
Well, first, we're not in a recall, so it's not just like your name on the ballot,
right?
I mean, you don't have like just like
Right. I'm gonna help Ryan.
Absolutely.
In Marion County.
Just
Ryan's gonna help
weekend,
Ryan, and Ryan's gonna help me in Marion County, and I'm excited about being on the ballot with them. I share the visions that he shares for Marion County, and I think Ryan Mears awesome.
So the reason that article came up, it was about, is there a law and order backlash coming like in big cities? Because generally, you've got, I think if you wanted to generalize, you'd say, big cities are more liberal, they're more progressive. And if you have some officials that aren't law and order, like for example, I was talking to a friend of ours in Seattle over the weekend, and he said it is crazy. And he's a Democrat. I mean, he's liberal. He said the city council in Seattle last year passed an ordinance that said if you have an if you're economically affected, you don't have to necessarily subject yourself to misdemeanor crimes. If you have an economic reason for committing a misdemeanor crime, you can have it dismissed.
Like stealing.
Yeah, like I'm poor, I can steal.
Well, you see what's going on.
And there's a backlash there. So the first time, he told me that the first time in ages they elected a Republican county official in Seattle, or city official in Seattle as the prosecutor, and a Democratic law and order mayor.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, he said shopkeepers are fleeing the city.
Yeah.
They were. Because why
People
would you
steal your stuff?
Yeah. If you've been burglarized or stolen like 10 times, what are you going to do?
I was watching a video just the other day about this person just walked out of a Myers with a big shopping cart full of stuff. They didn't stop at the front, and they're like, the guy that was in the line's like, that person's stealing. Go do something. And they're like, oh, we can't do anything about that. And they just like wheeled it right out. That is absolutely insane.
You have to, and I think this is the thing that people sometimes like, Democrats are soft on crime. Not true.
Not this Democrat.
Not true. I mean, it's all about, and I think as a society, you have to have rules, and you have to have criminal offenses, and you have to enforce them.
If you steal a stick of gum, you should be prosecuted.
Well, I mean, at least you should be,
you should be prosecuted.
I mean,
that doesn't mean you go to prison.
Right.
It means you should be prosecuted. You should have to go through the system. If you're a juvenile, you go through the juvenile system. You get due process. If you're an adult and stealing gum, you're a freaking loser. Let's face it, right? Who steals gum as an adult?
And I don't
Nobody.
think and I don't think it's necessarily a Democrat or a Republican issue. The other thing that the article pointed out was in the largest city in America that has a Republican mayor, Jacksonville, Florida, spends a third of their budget on the police department, and they still have a murder rate 3 times higher than New York per capita.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting issue. I think it's gonna, and I think you being very pro police and very pro law and order, I think it's going to help you in Indiana.
Well, Todd Young's going to try to tell lies. He
Sure.
already is. He's saying, we're not going to defund the police. Like his opponent wants to defund the police.
Right.
I have a track record, Senator Young.
Of funding the police.
Of funding the police and supporting the police. And when they need me, I'm there for them. I don't turn my back on them like you did, Senator Young, turning your back on the Capitol Police, who got beaten, who got sprayed, who got punched, who got poked, who got prodded, who got shocked, and they came to you for help, Senator Young, and you screwed them. You turned your back on them.
Yeah, I thought that testimony in the in the prime time for January 6th when they had that officer on was pretty dramatic. I mean, but
Lindsay go to sleep over there?
Yep.
Really?
With your Pride overalls on?
All I want to do
What'd you
during
call 'em?
Pride Month is just party.
Wear your gay jeans and off you go.
Wear my gay jeans and party.
Those are gay jeans?
Drink
That's what she called them.
Oh,
They say
okay.
Queen, like
really?
the band?
They say Queen.
Or Queen
they
as
got
in you.
It is after the
Rainbow,
band. Lindsay's
and
a
then
huge Freddie Mercury fan.
Love for Freddie Mercury.
Who doesn't?
The best.
Yeah,
Hard
who
not
does
to.
not?
Agree.
And then I've got a little rainbow on my leg. It's pretty cool.
Ah, nice.
You
Hey,
know,
my buddy
Target
Drew
capitalism.
got a tattoo. I thought he drew it on his arm. I go up and he's tats up his arms, right? And he's got a rainbow
It's like a band.
Yeah, a band around his arm.
Really
I thought
cool.
it was super bright.
Was
too.
that new?
Yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah,
he got it
looks-
right before
looks
the
really
Pride
good.
Parade. Yeah.
Dude,
for
are
him.
those real tats on his arm that have the states
Yes.
listed?
Yeah.
I thought that was like temporary.
No.
Wow.
You
What
should
does that
see it
even
now.
represent? Where he's
You should
been?
see it
or
now.
what?
He likes America.
Well, one of them's Indiana. It's obviously what it represents. But yeah, he has like all the initials, like 2-letter initials on his forearm, and it's all the states he's lived in, which is a lot. And then
Wow.
he has the huge band now, the Rainbow Band, and it's super bright. It's like I thought it was drawn on. It was so bright.
It was
He's
really
like, no,
neat.
I just got this tat like 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's cool.
Looks really
It's
cool.
just fresh.
By the way, Drew's the one that got that picture of the ticket. Wow, that was a great picture.
Yeah, that photo's great.
In the Pride
Check
Parade.
it out on
That picture
I just
is
Twitter
retweeted
and
it,
socials.
actually.
I'm telling you, that picture is going on my wall, and Drew's the one that took it for the record.
Good work, Drew.
He was literally like, he took 100 pictures, and that was the best one. It was great. So great job, Drew Anderson.
Drew Anderson,
Indiana
Indiana
Democratic
Democratic
Party. A good friend of mine, and proud member of the LGBTQ community, proud member of, marching in the Pride Parade, just great guy, super smart.
And like organizer of the town hall and
Yeah. Drew's
tour,
been a big
so-
part of my campaign, and he's obviously Mike Schmuel and Lauren Giappini are very happy to have him on their team. So anyway, great to hear him, and I'm sure he's listening right now because he does listen to LOCPOD. So anyway, awesome show, guys. I'm glad we had Joel. I'm glad that turned out. I was sort of nervous about bringing him on, but I thought he
Worked
did a
out
great
just
job.
fine.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So-
Steve Kellogg, our business
Yeah,
manager.
Steve's doing good work over there. So anyway, thanks for the great job today, Lindsay. It's great to see you again.
Thank you.
You're now on the Tuesday crew, right?
Yeah, I took on too much responsibility for the summer, so I needed to give myself a break
Okay. Well, it's good to have you back.
by withholding myself from you guys.
So Jill's
Thank
back
you.
on Fridays?
Jill's the Friday crew.
Jill's on
Lindsay's the
Friday.
Tuesday crew.
All
Yeah.
right.
Jay Vez,
Yep.
great job today, man. We
Yeah,
appreciate it. Kate Chandler Smith, awesome job.
Thank you.
And have you checked my traffic for today?
You're good today.
Okay, thank you.
You
All right.
got to leave for Indy at.
Yeah. And then coming live from LOCPOD studio, this is the locomotive, Tom McDermott, your candidate for U.S. Senate in Indiana. And if you're a Republican, I am not your candidate. I want your vote, though. So please cross over. Anyway, nice talking to you all. See you on Friday for our next show. LOCPOD is out.